It's on. So the purpose of this is to get the story of why, when, the story of your coming to the United States, what it was like, what you did when you got here, what your family did when you got here, just everything you have to say about when you first came to the United States.
Do you want the date or the time or?
Anything you can give me would be great.
Okay. I was 16 years old when we moved from Mexico to Juarez, Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, because we must be make a passport, work in the passport.
So to work in the passport?
You work in the immigration and Mexican and American and government to make the papers to immigrate to the United States.
Okay. So were all the papers in order? Did you have any difficulty coming?
Not difficult, but they took about 1.5 years to do it.
Took about 1.5 years.
Yeah.
Why did it take so long?
Because the time they take in the office, the government people to make a person Mexican and then the local, first local, and then Juarez, and then the nation, and then the United States.
Okay. And what was your family's reason for coming?
Because my father grew up in Mexico, but coming to the United States at around 1914 and stayed in the United States until 1930 because in 1930 was the Depression, the found war, came back to Mexico. One brother lived in Mexico. And at that time in 1953, my uncle died. It was only my father stayed there. The sister and brother wasn't there in the United States and come back to.
And were they here in New Mexico?
No, in Texas.
In Texas.
Yeah, Paso.
So Juarez is right across the border from El Paso, so it's pretty local.
Yes.
Is it alright if I let the dog in?
Yeah, you couldn't. He expects to find food.
So what was, so that was in 1953 that you came to the United States?
Yeah, coming to Juarez. And coming to the United States in 1934, 54?
1954?
54, 55.
And you were 16, you said?
I was 16 when they coming to Juarez. I was 17 when they coming to the United States.
So, were you in high school at the time? I don't know what the Mexican education system is like. What were you doing?
What are you doing? Work.
Where were you working?
In the United States, I was a wetback.
What did you do with that?
I was had to take care of two little boys.
Okay.
Take care and work the whole weekend, come back to Mexico the weekend, and then come back on the Monday to work. The payment for the whole week was $12.
$12 for the whole week.
Yeah. It's hard to believe, but
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm going to the bank. Be back in a little bit. Oh no, so that won't be back. I'll see you tomorrow.
okay.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you. See you.
So you said you were coming across the border during the week, and you went back to Mexico on the weekends.
Yes.
How long did that setup last? How long were you doing that?
About 1 year.
About a year?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then the Camila had a passport. I still working. Start working in a factory.
What kind of factory did you work in?
Making jeans.
Okay.
Hi, how are you? Good. How are you? Tired.
That time it was $1 an hour the payment.
$1 an hour?
Yeah, I started working 40 hours in a week. It was $40. A big difference and $12 for the whole week.
And were you working 40 hours a week?
40 hours.
Was it normal work hours, 8 to 5?
8 hours.
8 hours a day? Okay. And did you still go to Mexico on the weekends?
No, you come in every day.
You were going and coming back and forth from Mexico to the United States every day?
Yes.
So when did you start staying in the United States for longer terms?
About in 1974.
So for about 20 years, you were going back and forth from Mexico every day.
Every year.
And was that all at the jeans factory? Or did you? So you worked at the jeans factory for 20 years?
For 43 years.
43 years?
Yeah. Different company. I worked once in a Reebok for make pants for Sears. And then I make really keep jeans for little kids. And then that one was in the Levi's. I once Levi's.
Yeah.
20 years in the Levi's.
And that's there in El Paso?
In El Paso.
So when you decided to move to the United States for longer term so you weren't commuting back and forth in 73?
When my youngest girl and daughter started going to school, we moved to live in El Paso. We stayed in El Paso for 1974 until now. Until now, there are my daughter and my brothers that are be in El Paso.
And you said you moved to El Paso when your youngest daughter was starting school and you wanted her to go to school in the United States?
Yes.
So how many people were in your family at the time?
When we come in apart,
well, tell me from the start. When you first came to the United States and then...
We were 6 brothers and sisters.
6 brothers and sisters.
But unless life gives you water and sugar, and like when life doesn't give you water and sugar, then your lemonade's gonna suck.
And that's when you first came here when you were 19, you said? 17?
17.
Okay.
Almost 18. But it was
That's what they
17.
call
Okay.
it.
And were you the oldest, the youngest?
Sitting outside,
You were the oldest.
When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. But unless life doesn't give you water or sugar, then
Okay.
your lemonade's gonna suck.
It's okay.
Nice.
That's why I'm taking notes, so that in case this is no good.
Yeah.
And so, did you have responsibilities in terms of taking care of your brothers and sisters? So how much did you do?
Almost 80%.
I can text her. I really don't want to text her because she's driving and she drives. We don't want to land her in the hospital again.
And then you referenced that
And then we don't want
you-
to be like dressing up as moms on
when you moved here long term in '73, you were doing that for your youngest daughter. So when you met your husband, did you meet him in the United States? Did you meet him in Mexico?
He works in El Paso and I work in El Paso.
So
We meet in El Paso.
you met in El Paso. Was he also commuting to El Paso from Mexico?
Yes.
All right.
I don't know. I thought that's what.
Yes. Oh, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is your dad allergic to lettuce?
Yes.
Like iceberg lettuce?
Iceberg, but not romaine.
I don't know about types.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Rod is playing Pac-Man.
Okay, well, I gotta feel this plate here.
Dr. Rod is playing Pac-Man. And he's actually talking
And-
to himself.
When did you get married?
I don't know, in 1960,
I don't know, but I got some
almost 61.
Lulu thing.
I'm married
Someone was
in
looking for avocados and someone was
January. I've been born in October. 61.
Okay.
That's right.
it's been eating.
And how many children did you have?
4.
4 children.
Five, but the third one born premature and dying.
What's
And
that?
two days survived.
And how was it commuting between El Paso and Florida? Did you have difficulties doing that, crossing the border every day? It never had any difficulties with it? What do you think it was easier back then than it would be today, or do you think you could still do that? Do you think we're trying to record this interview, so if you wouldn't
Lower
mind.
the voice a little bit, Maya. Okay? Thank you.
Do you think that it was easier to cross the border back then than it would be today, or do you think?
Oh, it's easy today, so. Sometimes took 4 hours to cross the bridge. Stay in the line to cross the path from Juarez to El Paso. Stay 4 hours in the line to cross. Now you must have a passport, international passport, to cross to.
Did you have to have all that paperwork back then too? Back in when you were crossing the border every day. Did you have to have
Passport.
passports every day?
Yeah, but it's just a small passport. And now we need international passport. Like we went to Chile. It's so problematic now.
Yeah.
That time it was so easy.
Say that again?
In that time was easy. Now to get passport to cross sometimes to take about 10 years
Mm-hmm.
to get the passport.
In Mexico, it often takes 10 years to get a passport.
No, I know in the United States.
How long would it take a Mexican? Do you know?
Oh, 1 month.
About a month?
Yeah.
Big difference.
But United States, 10 years or more.
Wow.
I know people is waiting 15 years to make a line.
Did you ever feel like people in the United States were ever prejudiced towards you, making you uncomfortable?
I don't know. I never feel that things. I always feel that people in the United States be kind with me. The only person that I think I notice have problems with in the United States, Humberto.
And what problems did he have?
In immigration, they suppose he don't have a papers. He supposes it's fake. He tried to cross the bridge with like illegal.
And what happened?
Nothing. Just went to the office and proved that he's a citizen, U.S. citizen.
Okay.
Is it real problem? No. There's he is had the worst experience. Jaime, Alicia, Alejandra. Anybody have a problem?
Have you ever had any experiences where you felt like anyone, not just government offices, but anyone was treating you differently because you were an immigrant?
No, I don't feel.
Oh.
I feel, but I see some people have a problems. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the way speak with the person, because if you be no nice person, you speak with hard words, you got to have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem. I see some persons have a problems, but in general, in the family, not only me, my brothers and sisters, anybody have a problem.
But you've never experienced any of that. When you first came to the United States, you were working. You said you were working in El Paso. You were living in Juarez. How did you find the work?
Make application. And
Did you just pick up an application? So you were looking. Were you looking to work in El Paso? Were you looking to work more in?
El Paso.
Why did you choose to want to work in El Paso?
Because it's more close to the forest. That's why. I feel it's not easy to move to another part far away from the family.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I was so young to move to myself.
Mm-hmm.
The language, I don't speak anything.
Was it? How difficult was it for you to get along with English not being your first language?
I don't feel. I feel okay. I try to explain the things, and then if I can do it, I try to do it another way. And the people say, "You don't feel ashamed, and then you don't speak English." This is not a shame.
It's not. It wasn't shameful.
Not for me. It's necessary, but it's not something that you be ya se me olvidó cómo se dice. How did I say shame? Ashamed.
Ashamed?
I don't feel that when you feel ashamed when you speak Spanish?
No, but I don't speak.
Oh, okay, it's the same.
I don't speak Spanish very well.
At the beginning, I don't speak anything in English.
Did you ever feel like people were getting impatient with you?
No, sometimes, but not really. You feel sad. No, I don't feel.
When you were working at the jeans factory, what was the primary language spoken on the floor?
Spanish.
Spanish? So was it primarily a lot of people who were commuting from Mexico?
Yes. After 2 years of working in the factory, I was one of the best speaking English in the company.
You were one of the best at speaking English?
It's funny.
Yes.
One thing I feel that a lot of people don't make interest in learning English. That's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
You don't put it this effort or time, energy to learn something.
Yeah.
I try to learn for myself. Yeah, for myself, I learn everything that when I learn. And I think I do it not very well, but better than another ones.
You speak quite well.
I don't think so. I don't think so, but I think I do it better than another ones. I know.
You're making a great effort. I know many people who don't make the effort, so I think you do wonderfully.
And I try to do it with my sons and my daughter to learn to speak Spanish very well too.
Mm-hmm.
They speak very good English and speak very good Spanish.
So when they were growing up, were you actively trying to teach them both languages?
Yes.
Did you make an effort to speak English more in front of them than
Yes.
when you were with your children when they were growing up? Would you say how much English, how much Spanish did you speak in front of them?
More Spanish than English, but I try to every day try to speak more English. But finally, everybody finished to speak Spanish.
So you would say that they were raised primarily in Spanish?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, I was about. Oh, the things that you sometimes hear in the news about people who want to close the border with Mexico and restrict immigration much more. How does that make you feel?
I feel the closest bridge, the line across the frontera is not there. But put more interest in immigration, who coming, the way he coming, the people coming, is better. Because a lot of people don't come into work, don't come into try to live better. It's coming to the United States, support everything.
Do you feel like the people who are pushing to shut down immigration across the border, do you feel like they're racist? Do you feel like they're doing it because they're afraid of you? Do you have any idea?
I don't think they're afraid to me, but I think that the United States must be putting laws more strong to stop bad people who don't be honest, don't hard working.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of people coming to don't to work, try to steal and everything they can. Coming and don't work and asking for food stamp, asking for a lot of things. I work for myself because in 1970 I get to work for my husband in a loan only for my wage, support my 4 sons and daughters and my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I can do it. I do it. I sometimes was so hard, but I do it.
Yeah.
I asked him for a stamp 2 times, or once because was in the hospital surgery. I can work for 3 months. I asked him, and I come back to work. I don't need it anymore. I need it, but I feel it's something I can now would to my sons and my daughters learn to live that way.
Do you think it was harder for you because you were a Spanish-speaking immigrant than it would be for someone who was in a similar situation but was born in the United States and spoke English primarily? Was it harder for you?
Harder for me was sometimes I don't have a work. That's the hardest. Sometimes I work 78 hours a week, 2 hours a day for 6 days. I work,
And that was at the jean factory?
yes. I work, but that's not the harder. The harder is I don't have to work. That's not.
So, you said there were times that you didn't have any work?
Yes, because the company cut the hours to work.
Okay. So, was it that you were ever unemployed and looking for work, or did you just have shorter hours?
Shower hours.
Okay.
And then I work in 3 companies, and the three companies never hire me. I worked with 10 to 14 and 20 years in the same company. And I always have congratulations for my work, for my quality of work, for my effort.
And you felt appreciated? You felt like you were valued?
Yeah, make me feel happy.
Good. Do you ever wonder what life might have been like had you chosen to stay in Mexico?
I think that the life in Mexico is very good. The people in Mexico is, I think that the people in Mexico is happy persons. They don't have anything to live, they're happy. And my mother's side is still living in Mexico. They live very well.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
The families for my mother's side, they still live in Mexico.
Yeah.
And they live very well. They live uh, almost the same ¿cómo se dice? Nivel de vida, el mismo, almost the same way.
Same way of life?
Same way in the economic.
Standard of living?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's her cousins, daughters, nurses, have a home, have a car, almost the same.
So, you don't think life in the United States is very different from life in Mexico anymore?
I think it's different, and not in one way in one way it's better, and another way it's worse.
So in what way is it better?
It's better. Now in this moment is not easy because there's a lot of criminality,
In what way?
in whole Mexico.
In all Mexico.
That's the worst. The better, the people don't need a lot of money to do the things, some good things. That's what I say. Sometimes you will live better than the United States. More security, more. In Mexico now it's so wild. A lot of traffic drugs. A lot of people live very expensive, I think that the life is the same. But I'm happy to stay in the United States.
Did you ever get your United States citizenship?
I haven't.
When did you choose to get your United States citizenship?
In 1981.
1981? And why did you choose to do that?
Because I feel it's better for me, for my son.
How was it better?
Feel more security. Don't. If I make some bad things, throw me to Mexico.
Were you worried about that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't have any more questions at the moment. if I have any follow-up questions, would you mind if I came back over and asked you?
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much, Alicia.
You choose, is there